Picture this. Somewhere deep inside Kensington Palace, behind doors that no camera has ever entered, a legal document is being prepared. It carries no dramatic seal, no golden ribbon. It is a few pages of dry constitutional language. And yet, when it is signed, it will do something that has not been done in nearly a century. It will erase two royal children from the line of privilege forever. Prince William, the man who will one day be king, is about to strip his own niece and nephew, Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor, of their titles of prince and princess. Not as a threat, not as a bargaining chip, but as a final, irreversible act of separation from a brother he no longer recognizes, and a sister-in-law he no longer trusts. And here is the part that should send a chill down your spine. According to those closest to the future king, this decision was not made in anger. It was made in silence, over months, with the cold clarity of a man who has simply stopped hoping. Meanwhile, 3,000 miles away in Montecito, California, Prince Harry has learned what is coming, and his reaction tells you everything you need to know about where this story is heading. He is not negotiating. He is not pleading. He is attacking. A furious media counter-offensive is already underway. But this time, the palace is not flinching. This time, there will be no retreat. So how did we get here? How did two brothers who once shared everything arrive at a moment so brutal that one is preparing to legally sever the other's children from the institution they were born into? The answer is a story of betrayal, manipulation, and broken trust, so deep that when you hear all of it, and today you will hear all of it, you will understand why William believes he has no other choice. A boundary that cannot be crossed. For William, this represents the final firewall. It is not merely retribution against a rebellious sibling. Constitutional advisors describe it as an institutional necessity to protect the organization he will one day lead. Years of public accusations, monetization of private matters, and profound disloyalty have crystallized into steely resolve. Insiders describe a future sovereign who has moved beyond diplomacy into enforcement. The window for peace has closed. What has begun is an era of accountability. To grasp the gravity of this, you must understand the legal framework behind royal identity. The titles of prince and princess are governed by the Letters Patent of 1917. Issued by King George V during the First World War. When anti-German feeling was so intense, the royal house changed its name from Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to Windsor. The decree restricted the styles of His or Her Royal Highness to the monarch's children, grandchildren in the male line, and the eldest son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales.
Because Archie and Lilibet were great-grandchildren of Queen Elizabeth II at birth, they had no automatic entitlement. That right only activated when Charles became king. Harry and Meghan moved quickly to register their children under the princely titles. Palace watchers saw this as a preemptive strike, locking in royal status before anyone could challenge it. They had watched Prince Edward and Sophie take a different path. Lady Louise and James, Viscount Severn, were raised with an earl's courtesy titles, with the option of becoming princes at 18. Both declined, choosing normalcy and independence. The Sussexes chose the opposite. They claimed everything. And that claim is now the instrument of their undoing. Constitutional scholars confirm that the sovereign retains the power to issue new letters patent, withdrawing such titles. The most famous precedent is the 1936 abdication of Edward VIII, who was made Duke of Windsor while his wife Wallis Simpson was deliberately denied the style of Royal Highness, a slight that poisoned relations for decades. More recently, in 2022, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark stripped 4 grandchildren of their princely titles, stating it was in their best interest to live free of royal obligations. But William's motivation is different. He is not liberating anyone. He is defending the crown from what he sees as the weaponization of royal rank for profit and personal vendettas. Allowing Archie and Lilibet to keep princely titles while being raised as American citizens with no prospect of official duties by parents openly hostile to the institution creates what William views as an existential contradiction. A transatlantic outpost trading on the Windsor name without submitting to its discipline or its founding principle of service. The revocation is not punishment. It is cauterization. The message is clear. You are either part of this institution fully, or you are not. There is no middle ground. Harry has reportedly been devastated. He has turned to remaining media allies, principally Harper's Bazaar, to frame the move as a cruel attack on innocent children. Palace officials anticipated this precisely. It is a recognizable Sussex strategy. Cast the institution as vindictive, generate sympathy, trigger outrage. One commentator noted, "You can practically feel the rehearsed indignation in every leaked quote." But the palace is not retreating. Their private position is blunt. You chose to leave. You denounced this life as a gilded cage. You wrote that your happiest days were as Captain Wales in the army. You cannot destroy an institution and demand its privileges simultaneously. The exposure of deeper betrayals. To understand the depth of William's resolve, look past the headlines into the quieter betrayals behind closed doors. The investigative biographer Tom Bower's recent book, Betrayal, contains revelations that explain the Prince of Wales's uncompromising stance. The most damaging allegation involves Sentebale, Harry's African charity supporting children with HIV and AIDS. For years, it was the crown jewel of his legacy, born from a genuine love for Africa and a desire to continue Diana's humanitarian tradition. Even his fiercest critics respected it. But Bower's book claims that the charity's leadership discovered a troubling pattern. A prospective American donor was reportedly contacted by an Archwell representative and encouraged to redirect their gift away from Sentebale toward the Sussexes' own foundation. A second donor was allegedly steered toward Travelist, Harry's sustainable tourism venture. The implication is staggering. Harry was effectively diverting funding from vulnerable African children to finance his California lifestyle. When the charity's leadership attempted proper financial audits and questioned why certain associates held six-figure positions with generous perks, Harry's camp responded with hostility, painting the chair as an enemy. Bower suggests the leadership was simply fulfilling its fiduciary duty. Harry reportedly reacted with bewildered indignation, unable to grasp why anyone would challenge him. For William, whose career has been defined by high accountability initiatives like the Earthshot Prize, these allegations are an affront to everything royal service represents. The monarchy's modern relevance depends on what analysts call soft power, the ability to inspire and direct attention toward worthy causes. Exploiting that platform for private gain strikes at the institution's very core. In Kensington Palace, the Sentebale scandal is not one grievance among many. It is Exhibit A in the case for severing every remaining Sussex tie to the crown, a pattern of cruelty. This alleged misconduct does not exist in isolation. It belongs to a pattern the Wales family has witnessed firsthand. Two specific episodes involving Meghan and Princess Charlotte have become legendary within palace circles. The first occurred on the Buckingham Palace balcony during Trooping the Colour. In widely circulated footage, a young Princess Charlotte stumbled and nearly fell. Everyone nearby reacted with instinctive concern, except, the footage suggests, Harry and Meghan, who appeared to be laughing. Defenders called it an innocent moment. Critics, and reportedly the Wales family, saw something else entirely. A flash of what one observer called casual cruelty and a startling absence of empathy toward a small child. The second incident was captured during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. At a moment of global mourning, multiple photographs from different angles appear to show Meghan directing a look of unmistakable hostility toward Princess Charlotte. One commentator described it as barely concealed resentment aimed at a child. The sheer number of images from different moments led many to conclude it was not a trick of the camera. For the Wales family, this was deeply personal. The hostility was reaching their children. William and Catherine, known as fiercely protective parents, reportedly view these moments as the emotional core of the rupture, the true point of no return. The pattern extends into Meghan's own family. Her estrangement from her father, Thomas Markle, has been a defining subplot. Meghan has presented herself as the victim, claiming her heart was broken when Thomas collaborated with photographers on staged images before the wedding. But the photographer involved, Jeff Rayner of the Coleman Rayner Agency, had a prior professional relationship with Meghan from her Suits days. The same agency later produced supposedly candid shots of the couple walking dogs in LA during the pandemic, wearing caps and sunglasses that made them unrecognizable, raising the obvious question of how a photographer identified them at all. The widely held conclusion, these were staged. If Meghan maintained a working relationship with the photographer she publicly blamed for destroying her family, the victim narrative collapses. A darker interpretation emerges, that she orchestrated the original setup to justify cutting her father out permanently. For a royal family built on the principle of family loyalty, this level of personal manipulation is simply incomprehensible. William, surveying all of it, the charity betrayal, the hostility toward his children, the manipulation of her own father, has concluded there is no foundation for any future relationship. The Montecito gamble unravels. Stripped of royal duties and palace infrastructure, the Sussexes are now scrambling to sustain relevance. Their strategy is an improvised mix of philanthropy, commerce, and media appearances, and the cracks are showing. A planned Australian visit is a perfect example. The centerpiece is a wellness retreat called Her Best Life, with Meghan headlining, not in a grand hall, but in a modest hotel conference room. The organizer, Gemma O'Neill, posted a video admitting she had only recently started researching Meghan. More troubling, O'Neill reportedly carries substantial debts to the Australian tax office and has since deleted all social media. The entire operation appears fragile and amateurish. Over 35,000 Australians signed a petition demanding the visit be privately funded. The Sussex team responded dismissively, declaring the petition irrelevant because funding was already private. But this carried little weight, given that previous tours to Colombia, Nigeria, and Canada all generated significant taxpayer costs. The irritation was not just about money. It was about the arrogance of the response and the fundamental question, service or self-promotion. Especially since Meghan was reportedly overheard on their last official Australian tour, complaining she should be getting paid. Meanwhile, Harry is reportedly anxious about something more personal, his advancing hair loss. An ordinary condition, but loaded with irony for a man who gleefully mocked his brother's receding hairline in Spare and multiple interviews. Now facing the same genetic fate, public sympathy is non-existent. As one commentator put it, if you build a comedy routine around someone else's appearance, you lose the right to expect compassion when it happens to you. Those who see Harry in person report that the youthful charm is gone. In its place is a man who appears strained, bitter, and consumed by grievance. He is no longer fighting for a cause, he is just fighting against his family, his homeland, and his own reflection. The king this crisis is forging. Out of this rupture, a new kind of monarch is emerging. William has endured a trial that is both deeply personal and profoundly constitutional. He has watched his brother undermine the institution he has prepared his entire life to lead. He has weathered accusations of racism. He has seen his wife and children targeted. Through this crucible, he has been transformed. The cautious heir is being replaced by the image of a decisive, formidable leader. The title revocation will likely be remembered as the most consequential act of his years as Prince of Wales, the moment that defined his approach to kingship. Queen Elizabeth, with her devotion to never complain, never explain, and her personal fondness for Harry, would almost certainly have resisted this step. King Charles, who champions a slimmed-down monarchy but yearns for family unity, has been torn. That ambivalence belongs to the previous generation. William does not share it. His assessment is clear, and his determination is absolute. This action signals to every member of the royal family that ambiguity is finished. No part-time royals, no hybrid arrangements, no quiet monetization of status. Full commitment to service or full departure. Many analysts believe the reign of King William V will be defined by exactly this: firm boundaries, severe consequences. Duty and loyalty will not be optional. Harry and Meghan will serve as the cautionary tale, a modern Duke and Duchess of Windsor, updated for the age of social media and personal branding. And Archie and Lilibet, through their parents' choices and their uncle's resolve, will grow up as private citizens, their formal link to the institution permanently severed. In the end, the crown moves forward. The House of Windsor will emerge not weakened, but clarified, sharper, firmer, and more united than it has been in years. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts below, and we'll see you next time.